Okay, we're at section 14, vehicle licensing and registration. Now we're gonna sell a vehicle. We're gonna do your first deal. All right, and I talked to you a little bit earlier today about the electronic filing of the report of sale. Remember the business partner automation and Fairfax Imaging and 85 and 70, right? Okay, now we're gonna go into it a little bit. So here's the actual law that says it's gonna be the online report of sale. So let me just read it to you. Assembly Bill 516, effective January 1, 2019, California Assembly Bill AB 516 requires dealers to prepare reports of sale electronically online and transmit them to the DMV on the date of sale. AB 516 also requires dealers to print temporary license plates in situations where the vehicles being sold do not currently have 2 California plates on it. Dealers are also no longer allowed to put dealer promotional paper plates on their vehicles when the vehicles are sold. All right, the processing of the reports of sale electronically and the printing of the TLP can be done either through one of the 4 business-approved business partner automation, DMV approved business partner automation program providers, BPA, or through Fairfax Software, formerly known as Fairfax Imaging, and they're listed below. It's kind of funny. This morning, when I was coming in to do this, just right in front of me on the freeway, I didn't notice it, but there was a car still with one of those, dealership promotional plates on the back, and there's probably like 3 or 4 car lengths between the two of us. And there was an on-ramp, and a CHP came screaming in right between the two of us, and they put their lights on. I'm like, what the heck, right? I thought, oh, well, I wonder what they did, because obviously he'd been following them. And so I pulled out to pass both of them, and as I was going by, of course, you look, right, like what's going on? And sure enough, it had one of those dealer promotional plates on it. There is no excuse for that anymore. You have to have either a regular California plate or one of those white paper temporary license plates, and we'll get into that. But literally, I just saw that a little bit earlier today. So they're looking for it. All right, so let's scroll down a little further, and you see it says right there, DMV approved business partner automation program providers. These are the 4 companies. You could sign up with one of these 4 and do a lot of your transaction electronically online. There's DealerTrack, Motor Vehicle Software Corporation, Automated Vehicle Registration Services, and American Driving Records. The most popular with our group so far, our students, has been DealerTrack. And we also know some auction companies, people we know there, that they call them AVRS, Automated Vehicle Registration Services. But anyway, they're ranked in the order that our students like them. So there you have it. There's some contact information. Their websites are there. So feel free to contact them. If you want to do business partner automation again, feel free to drop our name. It won't hurt. Or if it does hurt, let me know, because something's very wrong. And then just below that is Fairfax Software, formerly known as Fairfax Imaging. And a lot of people like to use that because it's basically free to the dealer, and there's no other, you don't have to sign up for a lot of other package stuff. Business partner providers, that's generally if you want to get more involved electronically with your transaction and business management. But for the basics, a lot of people like Fairfax Imaging. So what I'm going to do now is a Fairfax Imaging deal, okay? They're all similar in that everybody, no matter who you sign up with, you're all going to go online and do the report of sale electronically. You can do more with the 4 business partners electronically, but with Fairfax Imaging, you're pretty much going to do the report of sale and the temporary license plates. We'll get into that in a moment. All of them do the temporary license plates too. So I'm going to do a Fairfax Imaging deal. So let's scroll on down to the following page where it says at the top left, summary checklist of standard documentation required to transfer vehicle. All right, this is your basic checklist. When you sell a vehicle, what documents are you filling out and sending to DMV? All right, so we begin with number 1, the DMV report of sale. And again, this is whether it's Fairfax Imaging or whether it's one of the 4 business partners. You got to go online to their website and you got to fill in the report of sale form. Now, the report of sale form is something only a dealer needs to do, but it's got the same information you would put in a good bill of sale: buyer, seller, date, price, description of the vehicle. And you just got to do it on the report form, and you click submit, and you send it off to the DMV. And then what we're going to do is we're going to print out the hard copy version of that when we do Fairfax Imaging. It kind of looks like this. This is a report of sale form, okay? And they all get a little bit different over time. So anyway, this is your report of sale, buyer, seller, date, price, etc. All right. So you electronically submit it on the date of sale, and that's important because I'm going to give you some names of forms and time deadlines. The electronic version of the report of sale must be completed and sent to DMV electronically, no matter who you use, on the date of sale. All right. Then with Fairfax Imaging, you will print out the hard copy and you're going to stick it in an envelope, because we're going to send this off to DMV. This is the way dealers have been doing it for decades. Before we did this stuff electronically, you always filled out the report of sale and you stuck it in the envelope. But in this envelope, we're also going to put the title and the bill of sale and the check for the DMV fees. And when it's done, this whole thing is called an application, and we send it to DMV within 30 days of the sale date. Some clerk at DMV opens these up. They take your information from your deal, they type it in the database, hit print, print a title, print a registration, and mail it to your buyer. Remember this is that whole document preparation thing. Well, that's what we're actually walking through right now. All right, so we've done the electronic version of the report of sale, no matter who we use. Now with Fairfax Imaging, we print out the hard copy and we put it in here. All right, now the hard copy goes in this envelope. This envelope becomes an application when it's done. And here's the point. All application questions on the test are all 30 days. A dealer has 30 days to complete an application to transfer ownership, 30 days. 30 days to transfer registration, 30 days. 30 days to transfer title, all right? Whatever it is, if it says the word application, it's 30 days. The only exception is if you complete the application, send it in within 30 days, but you messed up. You forgot one of the forms, you didn't sign something, right? They send it back. That makes it easy to remember. It's called a returned application, right? Because it came back. And the DMV will cut you a break. Because you got the whole thing in originally under the 30-day deadline, we'll say, all right, we're going to send it back, fix it, and send it back into us, and then give you a little extra time. So instead of 30 days, like all the original applications go in, you now have 50 days to correct the returned one, 50 days from the original date of sale, to correct the returned one and send it in. I know we like to think it's probably, well, you get an extra 20, right? It's 30 days, send it in. If they mess up, they give you 20 more to fix it. That's not how they calculate it. Do not even think about the word 20 on the test. It's 50. All applications go in within 30 days unless it comes back. You need more time. You get more time. Now it's 50 days from the sale date to correct the application and send it in. So the first document in our application is the report of sale. All right. Now, on the bottom of the report of sale is a second separate form, which you have seen, okay, thousands of times. This is the form that the dealer fills out, and before the buyer leaves, they fold it in half, they go out to the car, and they tape it to the lower right-hand corner of the windshield. All right, most of us call it the temporary registration. It's what your buyer drives around with for the next 30 days while you submit your paperwork and DMV issues the new registration and title, right? Okay, so you know what the name of this form is? It's crazy. It's called the used vehicle dealer notice / temporary identification. Ugh. All right. Nobody remembers that. Okay. So most of us call it the temporary registration. Here's what's important about that name. All right. It's called used vehicle dealer notice. Who cares? / now it's important. Temporary. They're temporary, right? They're scotch taped to the windshield. We know that. Temporary identification. It's an ID tag. It must go on every vehicle before it leaves, all right, before it leaves after the sale, to identify this vehicle as one just sold by a dealer. You see, in the old days, we put the car on the road, right? It had the dealer promotional plates on the back, or no plates at all on the back, or brand new vehicles had no plates. Okay, so this was the only thing. Now it's a little overkill. Because as you're going to see, we're going to put temporary license plates on the vehicle, or we're going to make sure that it's got current registration before it leaves the lot. So this is kind of overkill. Plus, DMV's already got all this stuff. We sent this in as part of the report of sale package, right? Okay, but they still want us to do this. So the report of sale hard copy goes in here, the small little one, all right? The temporary ID, we're going to tape that to the windshield immediately, all right? Here's the hard part on the test. Is we all know what this form is if I show it to you, but on the test, they will not show you the form. You need to remember the name and the time deadline. It's used vehicle dealer notice, whatever, / temporary, it's scotch taped, identification, ID tag. It's the ID tag that gets scotch tape on the car immediately on the date of sale. So the electronic report of sale goes in, you print out the hard copy, it goes on the windshield, the temporary ID, and put the hard copy of the whole report of sale. That's going to go into the envelope to DMV. All right, let's move on down to the next item. Number 2, the title. All right, remember when you bought the car, you got a title from the last owner and you kept it in their name, right? You're just holding on to it. All right, now here's an important thing the DMV could ask you about on the test. Who needs to sign the title? The answer is everybody who's got a financial stake in this vehicle winds up signing the title. All right, who has a financial stake in every vehicle deal? Well, the buyer and the seller, right? Buyer's paying money, seller's getting money. So on this particular title, Joe Generic title, the seller's going to sign it right here, releasing their interest, letting the car go. How do I know the seller signs there? Because it says seller signature right there, right? So the seller signs it there, and when they say that, or when they sign it, they're saying, DMV, I'm getting rid of my car, I'm selling it. To who? On the back, if it was going to a private party, the buyer would sign it up here. How do I know that? Because it says buyer section. They put their name and address up there, and they sign it saying, DMV, I'm going to be the new owner. Please make out the new title in my name and send it to this address. Now, if it's not going to a private party, it's going to a dealer, look at this. There's the dealer transaction section down here. And that's where you, the dealer, are going to put your name and address and you sign it because you have a financial stake in the deal, right? Because you got an ownership. It's a short period, but you got an ownership. And then back on the front of this title, bottom left-hand corner, that's where it says legal owner or lien holder. If the last time this vehicle was bought, it was financed by some bank or lending company, it might say Wells Fargo Bank or GMAC or Allied Credit, whatever. And to the right of that's a big X and a signature line. Somebody from the finance company's got to sign off basically saying, our loan has been paid off. We're in favor of the deal too. Look, here's another way to think of this. I know you've heard the expression, okay, look, we all got to get on the same page, right? Which means we all got to be in agreement on this thing, right? That is exactly what this is. On the same page, a single page document, everybody who's got a financial stake in this deal, we're all thumbs up, we all want it to happen. Seller wants to be rid of it. Dealer says, I'm giving up my interest. Or the buyer up here says, I want to buy it. And then down here, the bank and finance company signs off saying, yep, our loan has been paid off, we're all good. You're missing a signature, the DMV clerk will not issue a new title because you're not all on the same page. If the finance company hasn't been paid off, they don't sign it, you need to get that signature, otherwise the deal is not going to happen. So everybody with a financial stake in the deal signs the title. Buyer and seller always, dealer if you're involved, bank or finance company if they're involved. So the next document we're going to put in this envelope to DMV is the title. This has been signed by everybody. That's what we might call it, normal words, right? DMV could use fancy words to say the same thing. They might call it an endorsed or executed signed certificate of ownership, title. All right, so next we got the title in here. So now we got a report of sale. We got a title. We got the temporary ID on the windshield. Let's go to number 3. We need a vehicle vessel transfer and reassignment form called a Reg 262. All right, here's another beautiful example of DMV and long names. All right, this is what that form looks like. The vehicle vessel I can't remember it, and I've used it 1,000 million times. All right, the vehicle vessel transfer and reassignment form. All right, it's a bill of sale. It's DMV's standard bill of sale. Nobody calls it either one of those names, right? What do we call it? The form number, which is always in the bottom left-hand corner, which is always short and easy to remember, and it's REG 262, the Reg 262. This is the most common form you're going to deal with in the used car business here in California is the bill of sale, the Reg 262. All right, every time you buy a vehicle, you should have a Reg 262 from the seller to your dealership. When you later sell the vehicle, you should do another Reg 262 from your dealership to the next buyer. The reason we use this form, it's not technically required, but the reason you use it, it contains all the information the DMV clerk is ever going to need when they get this envelope full of all your stuff to make sure the transaction actually happens, right? I say all the information. It's got buyer, seller, date, price, description of the vehicle ID number, the odometer reading on the vehicle. It's got a power of attorney section at the bottom. All right, you don't have to use it, but I highly recommend it. When you buy a vehicle from somebody, have the seller fill in this power of attorney section, appointing you with their power of attorney. It's like they made you their attorney as far as transferring ownership of the vehicle. And when you later sell the vehicle, do another Reg 262 from your dealership to your buyer. And have the buyer fill in the power of attorney section, giving you the power of attorney. When that happens, you can now sign or fill out any documentation you need from this point forward to complete the sales transaction. You don't have to have people standing around in your office making sure everything is filled out and signed. You can say, thanks very much, see you later, goodbye. You can fill out everything, you can sign everything. The power of attorney works for everything except an odometer disclosure. That has to be done with somebody with personal knowledge of it, but it'll take care of everything else. So I do recommend it. the Reg 262. So we're going to put that in the envelope. So now we got a report of sale, we got a title, we got a bill of sale. Let's scroll down to item number 4. Smog certificate. Now in the old days, it really was a certificate, a printout you got from the smog shop saying you passed. So you shove that in the envelope. Now, as you probably know, it's all electronic. As soon as you smog the vehicle, within 24 hours, it's already in the DMV database. So you don't actually print something out and put it in the envelope, but we left it on this checklist as an item to remember, hey, don't even bother sending the application in until you got the smog done, because if you send it in without the smog, they'll see it in the database and they'll kick it back, called the returned application, until you get the smog done. So make sure it's done before you send this in. All right, number 5, transfer fee of $15. Every time we sell a vehicle, we're putting this envelope together, we're going online, doing the report of sale. Why are we doing all this stuff? Because we're gonna send this information to somebody at DMV whose job it is to open these envelopes up, take this information, type it in the database, print a title, print a registration. They're doing the actual transfer of ownership. We need to pay them. It's 15 bucks. All right, the standard transfer fee to pay for the transfer of ownership through the DMV is $15. That is a DMV test question. Number 6, vehicle license fee. Every time a vehicle is sold, it's got to be relicensed in the name of the new owner. So there's a license fee. All right, how much? Well, as you know already, I'm a fan of calculators. Currently, it's 0.65% of the selling price, but I use the online calculator for 2 reasons. One is I don't want to screw up the math. 2 is by using that calculator, think about it. When you put in the information, it's on the DMV's website, the vehicle license fee calculator. You put in the basic information: year, make, model, VIN, selling price, and date. Tells you the license fee. Okay? And now that you've done it that way, when all this paperwork arrives and the DMV clerk is going through everything, they're going to use the same calculator, and you know they're going to get the same number because they're using the same process that you did. So I like doing it because I know I'm going to be on the same page with them. All right, so on every sale, there's a $15 transfer fee because we're always transferring ownership. There is always a license fee because we're always relicensing the vehicle in the next owner's name. And then sometimes you will charge number 7, registration fees, but only sometimes. There's only 3 situations at the time of sale in which a dealer is required to charge the registration fee. I'll tell you what they are right now. You don't need to write it down. It's coming up here in a page or so, all in bold print. And so we'll go back through it. So you can just highlight it in your book if you want. But what are the 3 situations? Like I said, all 3 make sense. If I'm selling you a vehicle as a dealer and on the date of sale, the registration has already expired, I have to collect the reg fee from you. Okay? I can't let you drive out of here with expired plates. You get a ticket, right? So as a dealer, you have to collect the reg fee if 1, it's expired by the date of sale. All right, number 2, it hasn't expired yet, but it's pretty close. If it's going to expire within 30 days of the date of sale, DMV says, you know what, dealer, just collect the reg fee now. By the time we get the paperwork and process it, if it's going to expire within 30 days, your buyer's probably been driving around on expired plates. So if it's expired by the date of sale, dealer collect the reg fee. If it's about to expire within 30 days of the date of sale, dealer collect the reg fee. And the third category also makes sense if the vehicle you're selling has out-of-state plates or no plates at all, no registration in California. That's when you have to collect California reg fees. That's when you're going to print out these new temporary license plates. All right, whatever provider you signed up, one of the 4 BPAs, excuse me, or Fairfax Imaging, they will mail you a box of this special white waterproof paper that you're going to use, and you're actually going to print out these temporary license plates. So you go to their websites, you go to the temporary license plate section, and you plug in the terms of the deal: year, make, model, VIN number, date of sale, report of sale number. You plug it in, and it's going to start printing out on your printer 2 license plates, one at the front, one at the back. By the way, make sure you attach them at all 4 corners, like you would screw on a license plate, all 4 corners, because when you don't with paper, right, it blows in the wind and then it can't be read, and that's a whole other problem. So make sure it's attached at all 4 points. We had a special DMV bulletin about that. Okay, so you're going to print out these temporary license plates and put them on the vehicle. And you have to do that in situations where the registration, where the vehicle is, let me back up. I'll give you an example. I went to the auction. I bought a car. It's got Idaho plates on it. All right. Do you think I can sell somebody who lives in Oakland a car with Idaho plates on it and somebody else's name from a state they've never been to? Probably not, right? So that should be the trigger. I have to print temporary license plates. Or it has no plates on it at all. You'll see that at the auction, right? You got to start the vehicle into the system. That's when you use the temporary license plates and you'll collect the reg fees. So those are the only 3 times a dealer has to collect reg fees: if it is expired on the date of sale, it's close to expiring within 30 days, then collect the reg fee, or the vehicle's from out of state. If it's one of those three, collect the reg fee. If not, you're not required to do that. You can if the buyer would like you to, but you don't have to. All right, so scrolling down a little bit further, number 8, taxes. Okay, wait a minute, what's taxes got to do with this? Remember, every retail sale has 2 parts. We just went through the DMV part, the license and registration, putting the application together, send it off within 30 days, right? Okay, do the online report of sale, or excuse me, the online report of sale, put the temporary ID on the windshield immediately. That's all DMV stuff, right? Don't forget to put your tax money in the tax checking account, right? Based on the county where the buyer resides. So each retail sale has 2 parts. License and reg to DMV, put your tax money in the tax checking account. And then number 9, application to transfer ownership and registration. That is the name for this whole pile of documents that we're going to send to DMV. Oh yeah, and by the way, the last document we're going to put in here, right? We got the hard copy of the report of sale. We got a title. We got a bill of sale. Don't forget to put your check in here for your DMV fees, right? $15 transfer fee always. License fee always, because it's always getting relicensed. And then if the registration is due, add it in. If not, don't. Add them up, write your check, put it in here, send it to DMV within 30 days of the date of sale. Okay, that all sounds good. One last little twist here. I keep giving you these time deadlines, right? The report of sale goes in electronically. The temporary ID you're going to print out, put it on the vehicle windshield immediately. The temporary identification, right, goes on the windshield. You're going to put the hard copy of the report of sale in the envelope that goes to DMV, right? Because all the paperwork's going to go. Actually, DMV doesn't need it because they already got it electronically, but they want the hard copy. So you put the hard copy of the report of sale in here, the title, the bill of sale, the check for the DMV fees. It's a complete application. Send it off within 30 days of the sale date. If it's wrong, they'll send it back, called a returned application. You must correct it and send it back in within 50 days of the sale date. What happens if you blow those deadlines? Well, you got to pay a late filing penalty, and that would be awesome if that's what DMV called it, but they don't. Nope, they have a strange name for it. They call it an administrative service fee. Okay, the DMV, I guess, is the administration. So if you mess up, you got to pay them a fine, a penalty, an administrative service fee to the DMV. Okay, how expensive are they? They're cheap. And that's actually a problem. Why? Because they're so cheap, you forget about it. You get an administrative service fee notice, for example. Let's say you forgot to put the temporary ID on the windshield, all right? It's a $5 fee, let's say. All right, so you get that notice in the mail, you go, shoot, we messed up, we gotta pay a $5 penalty. Well, $5? What, you're gonna go online now for the next 20, 30 minutes to try to figure out how to pay online? Or what, you're gonna write a check? You don't even know where your checkbook is these days, right? So this is gonna take time. You're like, I can't justify that. I'll get to it later. But you don't, because it's $5 and kind of falls off your mental radar. Well, it doesn't fall off the DMV's mental radar. They'll give you 90 days to pay a $5 administrative service fee. If they don't get their $5 within 90 days, they'll get their $5. From who? Your bonding company. Now do the math. You have a $49,995 bond. You slept under $50,000 by $5. You just lost your dealer license over $5. Will they do this? Yes. Is it ridiculous? Yes. Should you lose sleep over this? No. If you get an administrative service fee notice for $5, just pay the flipping $5. You can't get on the phone and argue for $5. Just pay the $5 and be done with it. Art, can I get like a $51,000 bond or $60,000 bond? Kind of cover things in case they mess up. DMV's position is nope. Nope. You get a $50,000 or a $10,000 and just pay attention. Now, you're not going to get blown up by your bonding company. They will contact you and say, hey, listen, we got a claim on your bond here for $5. Do you want us to pay it or would you like to pay it? And the answer's going to be, I got it. I'll take care of that. All right. So I just want you to be aware of it. Don't ignore something like that. All right. So now let's scroll down. Now that ends our section 14. Let's move on to section 15.